Hi everyone, and my name is Kanakadurga. So today I would like to deal one very important chapter in class 10th physics. That is light. Okay, it is a very important and very interesting chapter. So you can score very good marks if you understand the concept in your term one exams, which are going to be conducted in November, month of November. So as you know, everything. So light is nothing but what? So we'll discuss the basics related to light. It is nothing but a form of energy, right? Which produces the sensation of sight. You can say sensation of sight. Okay. So, and also irrespective of any medium, light travels through vacuum. Okay. It can travel through vacuum. It can travel through air. It can travel through any other medium like glass. Like glass, water, diamond. So, irrespective of the medium, it can travel through any medium, right? And it travels with maximum speed of light, maximum speed in air or vacuum, and compared to air little bit. So in vacuum, the speed of light is maximum, that is 3 into 10 power 8 meters per second. So that is nothing but, you can say this is the main whenever an object receives light or light falls on any object, so the reflection, it bounces back the light which is falling on object. So that is because of the reflection of light. So when that reflected light reaches our eye, we are able to see the object. So that means, so you may have one doubt, so ma'am, how can we see the objects which are not emitting light on their own? So that is also because they are getting light from luminous objects, that is from other things. Suppose if you take the example of table, chair, or book, they get light from other objects. So after reflection, that is after scattering the light which is falling on them, so when that light, when that scattered light reaches our eye, so we are able to see that object. So that means there are few important terms related to this light when before entering into the chapter. So we are going to study few important terms related. What are those terms? Let us see now. So that is first most important thing is, what is source of light? Source means what? From which the light is given out. An object which is giving out light, you can say. Source of light is an object that gives, from which light is given out. Okay, from where we get light. Okay, an object from which light is given out. So that is called as source of light. So that means you can say any object. Natural source of light is what? You can say very important, बहुत easy है ये, that is sun. No? So very important and very familiar, that is natural source of light is sun. So you can also have electric lamps, bulbs. So all these are what? Man-made sources of light. Now here again in sources of light also you will have दो category है अभी, luminous objects बोलते और non luminous objects. Luminous means what? From the word itself you can say illuminating, that is what? That is lightning, which possess light on its own. So again you have here two types. What are those? In sources also you have two categories. So there are luminous objects and non-luminous objects. Luminous means which possess light on their own. So that means अपने आप वो emit अपने आप करता, that means they have light. Sun can emit light on its own light. So that type of objects are called as, so object that emits light on its own. Okay, object that emits, okay, light or that possesses light of its own. Emits, or you can also say possesses, that means it has that light with it. Okay, possesses light on its own. That type of objects are called as what? Luminous objects. So for example, you can say sun, or you can say electric lamp, or you can have one more example, that is bulb, candle. So all these have light of their own. So now second category of objects are non-luminous. That means they do not have light on their own. Object that do not emit or that do not possess light on its own. So that do not emit light on its own. So that category comes under non-luminous objects. Okay. So for example, you can say that is table, chair. So again, you can have any object which is not possessing light. doesn't have light on its own. Book, all these are non-luminous objects. So these are the most important. So we can see they receive. So how you may have one doubt. So अगर वो light emit नहीं कर पाते तो हम कैसे देख सकते हैं उस objects को, उस objects को? So that is a very good question. So how you are able to see the objects which do not emit light on their own? So that is how, that there comes a concept of scattering or reflection. So जो ऑब्जेक्ट लाइट एमिट नहीं कर पाता और उसके पास लाइट नहीं है, वो अपने आप लाइट एमिट नहीं करता. So such type of objects, they receive light from the objects which possess light. Like see, this table receives object from tube light. So after that light coming from tube light falls on the table, what happens? So the table scatters or reflects back the light. It reflects back. So when that reflected light reaches our eye, so वो reflected light अगर हमारा आई में आ सकता तो तब उस समय हम वो ऑब्जेक्ट को देख सकते. That means because of the reflection of light, you're able to see the object which is not possessing the light on its own. So this is a very important concept related to light, that is reflection of light. It's nothing but bouncing back of light. Okay, now the second most important term related to this chapter is medium. So this word is very much used, that is the word medium is used throughout the chapter. So what is medium? Any medium is nothing but through which something it propagates or tries to do, it acts to do something, like it acts between two objects, you can say. So that means medium is a substance through which this light propagates. That means it has to travel through something. No, we are saying it is a form of energy. No, that means it has to travel through something. So it is a substance through which light propagates. Okay, through which light propagates, that is called as what? Medium. So that means here also again there are different categories of medium. Okay, you can have where the light can propagate completely. Okay, you can have one more medium where the light will not propagate completely. Another type is the light will not totally enter into that medium. So that means based on the propagation of light. Okay, so you have three categories under medium. So we can classify those categories as transparent, translucent, and opaque media. Transparent medium, translucent medium, and opaque medium. So transparent, from the word itself you can say transparent means क्या होता है? Transparent बोले तो that is nothing but light propagates easily. Light easily जा सकता है वो medium से, easily it can pass through that medium easily. For example, so where light can pass, or you can say light propagates. Okay, light propagates very easily. So that type of medium is called as what? Transparent medium. For example, you can take air. Light propagates very easily. Okay, you can take water. Water is very good example. And glass, light propagates very easily. Like all these are called as transparent medium. The second one is what? Translucent. It is called as translucent. Translucent means through which light propagates partially. So here light propagates only partially, means pura nahi, it will not pass totally. Okay, that means what you can say, example, you can say paper, only partial propagation. Okay, it will pass but total light will not be passed. Then you can have ground glass is one example of partial propagation. Okay, so these are what? Translucent medium. So this type of medium are called translucent. And the third one is what? Opaque media. So opaque media is a medium in which light cannot propagate. Okay, it will not propagate, so cannot travel. So पूरा light pass ही नहीं हो सकता उस वो medium के अंदर से, right? Cannot propagate, it is called cannot propagate. So that means wood, metals, so and all these are opaque media. Okay, wood, metals, all these are opaque media. So now we have discussed about source. What do you mean by source? Then we have entered into the next term, that is what? Medium. And the third most important one which is used throughout this chapter, okay, frequently, most important usage of this word is that is, you say ray of light. This is very important. Okay, generally use the word ray. So ray of light is nothing but what? Ray, it is nothing but a straight line. So what do you mean a straight line path? So along with, so you are describing about the path of the light that is done in straight line. That is always light travels in straight line. Okay. So straight line path along which the light travels. So that is nothing but a ray, straight line path. So generally how it is represented by a arrowhead like this. So a straight line with a arrowhead on a straight line. So the arrowhead, what does it indicate? This is an arrowhead. So this indicates the direction of the propagation of light. Okay. So light is traveling from left to right or right to left. Direction of propagation of light. So this indicates direction of propagation of light. So now when you combine together number of rays, so that will form a beam of light. So you also use this word beam of light frequently throughout this chapter. So that is nothing but beam of light is nothing but what? So number of rays combined together. So many number of rays, various number of rays, okay, combined together. So that is called as a beam of rays. Number of rays combined together is nothing but beam of light. Okay. So in this way, you can speak about the new terms which are related, which we commonly use in this chapter. So totally we have source of light. Okay. Then next one is what are the different types of sources of light, like luminous objects, non-luminous objects. Then since light requires a medium to propagate. So what is a medium? That is nothing but through which the light travels or tries to propagate through. That is called the medium. So you can have transparent medium, translucent medium, opaque medium. So the next one is the ray. Ray of light is nothing but light travels in a straight line path. So that is direction. So it is generally represented by a straight line with the arrowhead. So when you combine number of rays combined together, so that is called as what? Beam of light. You call that as beam of light. So in this way, you can have convergent rays, divergent rays, and parallel rays. So as you also, you're also familiar with this word in your maths, convergent ray, divergent ray, and parallel ray, right? So that is convergent beam of light, divergent beam of light, or parallel beam of light. Parallel beam of light. So convergent, divergent, or parallel. Convergent, what do you mean? In which rays of light meet at one point, you can say. So convergent means they are meeting at one point. Divergent means, so like this. So when you consider n number of rays, so all these rays, they meet at one point. So this type of rays are called as what? Convergent rays. Divergent means what? In which rays of light come from out of a point like this and they diverge like this. These are called as divergent rays of light. Parallel beam of rays of light means in which all rays move parallel to each other. So that is called as parallel beam of light rays. So in this way, we come across generally all these type of words used in this light chapter, no? Which you are already familiar. So in general, we'll discuss together. We will summarize what are the characteristics of life as for the above discussion. Just we will characteristics, or you can also call them as properties of light. Okay, characteristics of light or properties of light. So from the above discussion, which we had till now, sorry. So that is nothing but, so you can say it is an electromagnetic wave. First important point is light is an electromagnetic wave. And the next one is it travels in straight lines, right? Straight lines. And when you speak about the speed of the light, so irrespective of the medium, it doesn't require any medium to travel. So does not require any medium, does not need any medium. So that means it can travel through vacuum. So also it doesn't need any medium. Now what is the speed of light? Speed of light is 3 into 10 power 8 meters per second. Now So since it can travel through any medium, the speed of light varies from one medium to medium. So therefore, wavelength also varies from one medium to medium. Now, next concept comes the concept of reflection. Reflection is nothing but light gets bounced back or reflected back from polished surfaces. That is reflection of light. So this is very important concept of light. Okay, reflection of light is nothing but bouncing back of light. Mostly 100% reflection takes place when the surface is totally polished, like you can say mirrors, polished metal surfaces. The whatever the light that falls on those surfaces, the bouncing back of light rate takes place. So that is nothing but reflection of light. The next important characteristic property is refraction of light. So refraction of light is nothing but bending of light ray when it travels from one medium to another medium. So reflection is nothing but bouncing back of light ray when it travels from one medium to another medium, right? As we know, since the speed of light also, it will be maximum. You can say it is in vacuum, it is maximum. Okay, so these are the most important characteristics or properties of light. So this is which you might have already learned in your earlier classes, and this is sort of revision, like so that means. And one more important property is that is it has a dual nature. Dual nature means what? It acts like a wave as well as a particle. Okay, so light has dual nature, that is both particle and wave nature exists. That means they travel in the form of particles, they travel in the form of waves. Okay, so therefore it is dual nature, wave as well as particle nature. This is called as dual nature of particle. And light travels in straight line. This property of light is called as rectilinear propagation of light. Okay, rectilinear propagation of light. So this is very important concept, rectilinear propagation of light. Okay, it has dual nature and rectilinear propagation of light. So these are the most important characteristics or properties of light. Okay, now coming back to the discussion of this bouncing back of light. So we'll clearly study about this reflection or bouncing back of light now. So this is nothing but, so as I've already discussed, it is a phenomena of what? Bouncing back of light into the same medium. अगर लाइट किसी सरफेस के ऊपर गिरता तो वो पूरा लाइट फिर रिफ्लेक्ट हो जाता और स्कैटर हो जाता. So that type of reflection or scattering of light is called as what? Bouncing back of light into the same medium after striking any surface. So that is called as reflection. You also call that one as what? Reflection of light. Okay, suppose if you take for example, you can just write bouncing back of light into the same medium. Light into the same medium. For example, you can take a glass sheet which is having a thin coating of silver. So on one side, this acts as a reflector. So that is nothing but a mirror. Okay, mirror is a good example for reflection of light. So this reflection is very good for polished, highly polished surfaces. Okay, the complete light ray gets reflected in case of highly polished surfaces. Right, now we will just study about three important terms which are related to this reflection of light. So that is nothing but incident ray, normal, and reflected ray. So these are the three important terms: incident ray, normal, and the next one is the reflected ray. Okay, reflected ray. So what is incident ray? So consider a polished surface like this, and any line which is drawn perpendicular to the surface, so an imaginary line, that is the normal. Incident ray is nothing but the ray which is falling or which is striking the surface. Okay, that is considered as the incident ray. Okay, incident ray. And after bouncing back, it comes in this direction. So this is a reflected ray. So the normal is nothing but a line which is drawn perpendicular to the reflecting surface, or this is, here we have considered a mirror. So this is a reflecting surface. Okay, now there is one more word which is used in this reflection of light, is angle of incidence and angle of reflection. So that is nothing but angle of incidence is angle made by the incident ray with the normal. So that is called angle of incidence. Okay, generally it is represented by small letter I. Now angle of reflection. That is small letter. So now what are the important? There are universal laws related to this laws of that is reflection concept. So there are two important concepts or very important rules, you can say, or laws of reflection. That is nothing but incident ray, reflected ray, and the normal to the reflecting surface. They're always lying on the same length. So that is all the three. What are those? Incident ray, reflected ray, and the normal. So to the reflecting surface. So they, at the point of incidence, you say, all lie in the same plane. So this is called the first law of reflection. The next one is angle of incidence is equal to angle of reflection, and they are opposite side of, they are to the opposite side of the normal. Okay, so this is very important. That is laws of reflection. Okay, and that is incident ray, reflected ray, normal always lie in the same plane, and angle of incidence is equal to angle of reflection. So now let us consider any light rays which are coming from a point source, that is a source of any other object. So after reflection, so they are falling on a mirror. So after reflection from the mirror, so they actually meet at a point. Okay, so when the light rays after reflecting back or after bouncing back, they meet at a point. So that point is called as image of that object. That point is called image of that object. So here again, we have two concepts, that is real image and virtual image. So real image and virtual image. So that means real image is nothing but what if really the light rays which are coming from the object, as we can see from the picture. So really if they meet at a point, the image is called a real image. A real image is always inverted. It is always inverted, and it can be formed or obtained on a screen. It can be obtained on a screen. Now, whatever the rays that are falling on the object or on the mirror from the object, so after reflection, so if they do not meet, okay, so at a point, or they appear to meet, that's all, they do not meet but they appear to meet. Oh, actually meet nahi hote, so they appear to meet. So that type of objects, such type of images are called as virtual images. So that is nothing but they are always erect images, like means they are sida, straight images. Erect means, and they cannot be obtained on a screen, cannot be obtained on a screen. So thank you very much.